Hello, all you freedom-loving people. Welcome to another episode of Front Page. I'm your host, Scott Cameron Goulet. The Canadian mainstream media and the Liberal politicians have fallen far short of the people's expectations regarding the truckers' protest. The media first ignored the Freedom Convoy and later tried to portray the peaceful protest as an extremist act, but the majority of people have chosen to side with the truckers. And now it's Ottawa's turn to make a choice. Hunter Biden is once again in the media spotlight, and the New York Times is suing the State Department to get more information about Hunter's corruption. February 1st was the most important holiday in many Asian countries, which is the Lunar New Year. Over the past decade or so, the way people celebrate has quietly changed. Okay, let's get into it. Canadian truckers continue their protest in Ottawa despite Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, some Liberal ministers, the Ottawa mayor, the Ottawa police chief, and almost all mainstream media is reporting against the truckers. Trudeau called the truckers racist.
We won't give in to those who fly racist flags.
And Ottawa Mayor Jim Watson urged truckers and protesters to pack up and leave because they've made their point. He said, "You've had a moment, your 15 minutes, time to move on, give back our city to our residents, and go on your way to your community." But the tide has changed. A new Angus Reid poll published on January 31st shows 54% of Canadians agree it is time to end all COVID-19 restrictions and to allow people to manage their own level of risk. This is a 15% increase from earlier in January. Saskatchewan has the highest approval rating against the mandate at 62%. Quebec, which has been the most restrictive recently, followed closely at 59%. Alberta and Ontario are at 57% and 54%. The only region that doesn't go against it is Atlantic Canada, with 52% support for the pandemic restrictions. The public support for the Freedom Convoy can also be seen in the donations that the Freedom Convoy has received. As of today, the Freedom Convoy 2022 campaign on GoFundMe had raised more than $10 million, with many individual donations exceeding $10,000. Although the Freedom Convoy is loud, we saw very little coverage in mainstream media. If there was any, it was negative. Corey Morgan, a business owner based in Calgary, Alberta, contributed an opinion piece to the Epoch Times pointing out that the mainstream media has not been reporting fairly. He listed several examples. The media has been showing this photo to try to show that the protest has been taken over by Nazis. The protesters said they have not seen such a flag at the protests. The media also highlighted a person carrying a single Confederate flag. Morgan wrote, "But a video of demonstrators chasing that lone flag holder from their ranks appears to have been overlooked by the media." Another incident that has been widely circulated is someone parked on the steps of the National War Memorial and another person dancing on top of the tomb of the unknown soldier. However, the real situation is this took place well outside of where the demonstration was held, and it was only a handful of people. Morgan argued those people were draped with Quebec flags, by the way. Why isn't the media trying to claim it was part of a Quebec nationalist movement? Several people draped a flag and put a sign on the Terry Fox Memorial statue. The photo was also featured in mainstream media. Morgan explained, "The items were removed within minutes, and the statue is unharmed, unlike many statues destroyed in past protests. It was disrespectful, but hardly a capital offense." After thousands of demonstrators spent an entire day in Ottawa, these minor incidents are the worst that the mainstream media could find. Morgan praises the protest, saying it has gone remarkably well, with no reports of violence or vandalism, no clashes with police, no windows smashed. He questioned, why couldn't the media report on the thousands of Canadian flags being waved proudly through the demonstration? Why couldn't they at least note that despite a week of predictions from experts that this demonstration would turn into another January 6th event, not a single violent incident happened? What's even more ridiculous is that the CBC even tried to link backing for the convoy to Russian interests.
Given Canada's support of Ukraine in this current crisis with Russia, I don't know if it's far-fetched to ask, but there is concern that Russian actors could be continuing to fuel things as this protest grows, but perhaps even instigating it from the outset.
Morgan believes the clear loser in this case is mainstream media. Unfair reporting from mainstream media this week truly exposed to Canadians just how rotten that institution has become. In the end, the article stated that Canadian political and mainstream media outlets reacted strongly because they've lost control and it scares the tar out of them. They don't know what to do and are responding by hysterically lashing out. As for the truckers, even if their demands are not fully realized, this time they have succeeded. He concluded, the convoy has shown that citizens can and will stand up for themselves when pushed too far. Canada's political and media elites now can choose either to change their tune or get left behind. The New York Times has sued the State Department. The Times wants access to emails from Romanian embassy officials sent between 2015 and 2019 that reference Hunter Biden and his former associate Tony Bobulinski. Bobulinski was the CEO of Sino-Hawk Holdings, a partnership between the Biden family and Chinese Communist Party members. Compared to the end of the 2020 election, when all the mainstream media ignored such breaking news, now the Times wants to find out whether embassy officials did any favors on behalf of Hunter's company. Around that time, the FBI investigated Hunter and his associates. In 2020, Rudy Giuliani revealed a huge money laundering operation involving the Bidens and the Ukrainian energy company Burisma Holdings. Hunter allegedly laundered $16 million. Giuliani said it goes from Ukraine to Latvia. It's disguised as a loan to another company, to WireLogic, I believe. It then goes to Cyprus, gets disguised as another loan. This is called Digitech. Then it's dispersed as payment as board fees. He continued, now you don't make two loans to make board fees unless you're laundering the money. $3 million gets to Hunter Biden in that way. In our previous shows, I talked about the business relationship between Hunter Biden and CCP members as revealed in Peter Schweitzer's new book, Red-Handed: How American Elites Get Rich Helping China Win. The book also mentions that Hunter helped the CCP promote the Belt and Road Initiative. The CCP wants to dominate globally, its military power, and therefore it wants to use the influence of the Belt and Road Initiative to expand into the heart of Europe. According to Schweitzer, Hunter's first role for the Belt and Road Initiative was to try to help the CCP purchase Greece's national railroads. Hunter's partner in the scheme was the Chinese Communist government's China Ocean Shipping Company, which offered Hunter an incredibly favorable deal because it wanted to take advantage of Hunter's personal connections in Greece. Hunter and the shipping company also wanted to buy the Italian National Railroad Company. It's lucky for the free world that their bid was rejected. Hunter's connection to the Belt and Road Initiative is through CEFC China Energy, which has made no secret of its mission to serve the initiative. One of its missions is to purchase strategic assets in Europe and the United States. Schweitzer's cites emails from Hunter indicating that he knew of the company's ties to the Chinese Communist Party and to the People's Liberation Army Intelligence Department. Bobulinski had bluntly told Hunter to stay away from CEFC, but Hunter didn't listen. The reason was simple. CEFC paid Hunter millions of dollars for his position, which he actually lacks the relevant skills or experience to hold in the company. We all know what Hunter is capable of. Even if he knew about CEFC's goals and the CCP's objective, he he wasn't capable of understanding the purpose of this CCP program. The CEFC is not a corporation that just makes huge amounts of money from government projects. Schweitzer noted that one of CEFC's analysts published an opinion piece in the Chinese press in 2011 advocating the use of military force to drive Western oil and gas companies out of the South China Sea. The CEFC's expansion in the U.S. was halted only after the FBI arrested Patrick Ho, who was a confidant of Ye Jianming, the CEO of CEFC, on bribery charges in late 2017 under the Trump administration. February 1st of this year was the New Year in China and in many other Asian countries. It is generally known as Chinese New Year. However, as the Asian public turns against the CCP, there are now calls to change the name to the Lunar New Year because the holiday is not unique to China, but is also celebrated in Asian countries such as South Korea, Vietnam, and the Philippines. The Voluntary Agency Network of Korea, or VANK, which is a group known as the Cyber Diplomatic Delegation Group in Korea, has been emailing Google since February of 2019 to protest the fact that Chinese New Year is automatically displayed first when searching for the Lunar New Year. VANK asked Google to change the information. Last February, VANK finally got a response from Google that when searching for the Lunar New Year in English, the information about Chinese New Year will no longer be shown at the top. In fact, besides Asian countries, the United States, Canada, and Australia also celebrate the festival. To avoid controversy, Sydney, which is Australia's largest city, officially renamed Chinese New Year to the Lunar New Year in 2019. One of the Lunar New Year activities for Mandarin speakers in recent decades has been to watch the CCTV's New Year Gala on New Year's Eve. This is something that people who lived in China grew up with, and it has been exported to countries around the world. The gala is the most powerful cultural platform for instilling CCP values outside of China. People living in the Western world dislike CCP ideology, but they watch these preachy brainwashing programs year after year because there's no alternative. In recent years, the CCTV's New Year Gala has had some stiff competition. Shenyang Performing Arts is the world's premier classical Chinese dance and music company. Its mission is to restore and promote traditional Chinese culture and values. I have to make it clear that I often expose the evil of the CCP on Front Page because it is the root of all evil in the world. But the Chinese people and the Chinese culture are completely different from the CCP regime. The Chinese Communist Party has only a short history of 100 years, while the traditional culture of China has been built up with over 5,000 years of history. It is this beautiful and profound culture that Shenyang presents. One of Shenyang's slogans is China before communism.
You are not just watching a performance. You are witnessing a culture reborn. Now, you'll see what the modern world has never seen. China before communism.
For this reason, Shenyang performances are not allowed by the CCP within China. Shenyang tours the whole world with only China and areas controlled by the CCP being off limits. However, the impact of the Shenyang show has far surpassed that of the CCTV's New Year Gala around the world. The show can be enjoyed by people of any ethnicity with no language barriers. I've seen the show myself and have been inspired by its beauty and message of hope. Pamela Scarda, an audience member from Kansas City, summed it up perfectly.
The last scene on Compassion, I literally had a spiritual experience. My heart just opened with divine love. I could feel every cell of my body vibrating as the divine. It was just phenomenal.
This is certainly something the world desperately needs. Shen Yun is on tour right now. Check out shenyun.com to find shows near you. Okay, this is our show for today. Thank you for tuning in. If you like what you heard, please don't forget to like and subscribe this video and share it with your friends and family, because everybody deserves to know the truth. Again, thank you for watching Front Page, and we will see you next time.